I witnessed settler violence in front of me. Some of it was against me. I witnessed acid being thrown on people. I witnessed several shootings.
In 3 months?
Yeah. Yeah, the situation there is 100 times worse than what we imagine.
He waited till I got near, because I was shooting, and he just phlegmed up and he spat in my face. And I don't know if you've ever been spat on. It's a very, you really have to check yourself, in that moment,
it's a challenge, right?
to decide what your reaction is.
It's not currently a tourist destination. It's a place where there are unspeakable horrors unfolding, and many of them are only discoverable if you go there.
Revolutionary imagery has been co-opted by a white supremacist machine. So I don't fuck around with my words. When I say to a lot of my brothers and sisters that we do not own our culture, they're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? We don't?" I'm like, we don't own our culture, dude.
Yeah.
You're in the Steve's factory now.
Steve's factory settings. This is factory reset. We have two of my favourite people in the building. One I've actually never met in the flesh, so this is a blessing. Although I feel like I know him through his art. And another guy who was fresh back from a very special trip. Misan, welcome to the Steve's factory, my boy.
Thank you.
In the place, Nat Powers.
My brother.
Powers to you both.
My guy.
Beautiful men in everything you do and achieve through art. Misan, give me a quick rundown of your background, please.
My background. Born in Nigeria, sent to a very, very, very racialized white world, British boarding schools in the 80s. I'm neurospicy.
Welcome.
Right, can't read very well. Certainly failed every exam I ever took. Was ashamed of how my mind worked. I remember getting a report card, and in those days they used this language. They said, "We believe your son is mildly retarded." Wow. So I hated a big part of myself for my formative years. And then I met this woman that fell in love with all the parts of myself that I was ashamed of. And she put a camera in my hand. I'm 7 years ago, for my 40th.
Oh, really? Is that when you started shooting pictures? Wow.
We got pregnant. My daughter was premature. I was scared of being responsible for something so delicate, and I hid behind the camera. And as I shot each frame, the quality of my imagery improved, and I learned to recognize that maybe I deserved some of the gifts that you get through fatherhood. And soon after that, George Floyd was lynched for all of us to see, and I didn't know what to do, and went to Hyde Park initially, not knowing if there were 5,000 people would turn up, and shot those protests. No one knew who I was. I put it on Instagram, it went nuts. The only living son of Martin Luther King, MLK3, saw the images, didn't even know it was me, just posted my picture. And then all the celebrities you can imagine posted it. And my mates started tagging, saying, "That's Misan's image." Vogue saw the images, and then they did something extraordinary by making me the first black man, giving me the September issue, 2020. So I photographed Marcus Rashford and Adwa Aboa in 2020. And that's how the world discovered me. And the important point is, since then, it's a choice. Suddenly, I had no voice, and then I had this platform post-2020, and I think what's happened is I've been really intentional with what I do with my voice. So I am a photographer, filmmaker, but more than anything, I am an activist that's trying to build bridges, but also help us decolonize our minds and do the unlearning as a child of empire. I believe that's my responsibility.
Incredible. It said just before, I feel like I know you even though we've never met in the flesh, because your art speaks such volumes and your principles come through in every Instagram post, every image, every kind of bit of communication. You wear your heart on your sleeve, and I think I hear a quote from you that said, "I'm the same no matter what room I walk in." And I love that, because it means you're just never going to deviate from who you are or your principles for capital, for respect, or whatever it is. And I've actually been wearing that comment on my own mind recently, just trying to remember that, because I tried to do that, but certain times you do. But I think that's really powerful to just think, every room I'm going in, I'm the same.
Yeah. And you stand out.
Yeah,
but, I was like, who is this Toddla T? Because look, let's be honest, Palestine.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who's a big Star Wars fan. You should follow her. Pomegranate said it on her page. She goes, Palestine is a single missile shot through the exhaust valve of the Death Star, which brings a whole empire down.
Yeah.
And I think that Palestine is much bigger than Palestine because it's brought us together. I'm going to speak for both of you in a way. I'm sure you've really figured out who the fuck your friends are.
Yep, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
What you want to do with may we live long, but what you want to do with the time that you have both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And that's quite a thing for a movement to do.
No, absolutely. There's
Amen.
so many splinters off the actual trauma of it, which leads me to my brother Nat,
Hello.
producer, big man in the music game,
Trying.
done some big records.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you are fresh back from Palestine, right?
I am, man.
We met up, how long ago was it when you come by? About 3 or 4 months? Probably?
About 4 months ago.
The sun was shining, so it was a different day.
Yeah, it was.
And you were toyed with an idea, and then a couple of days later, you were like, I'm off. And I was like, amazing. And I've not really had much communication with you since because
Not so much,
it's not
no.
that easy when you're there, I presume.
No. You have to watch what you're doing.
Yeah, it takes balls to do that. What was the gut feeling and intention to get on that flight and deal with it?
Man, so to put it in sort of layman's terms, prior to my birthday in June this year, I was never outspoken about anything. Nothing. Never stood on anything, never spoke out, never felt for a cause. Maybe in my personal life somewhat, but never did so in terms of directing my creative energy towards something like this. So I went to my auntie's house in June to celebrate my birthday because my parents are no longer here. And she was spiritually fractured over the whole Gaza situation, and I've never seen her that vulnerable. So it led me into this rabbit hole of questioning everything. So that night I went to bed, I pulled out my phone, and I looked at every single video of every child, every person, you know, all the most brutal things. In the space of an hour, I consumed everything I could. It's typical of my personality, like 0 or 100. And something in me fractured. And I started purging ideas, landed at the conclusion of I need to do a film and a soundtrack, and flew to Palestine.
How do you even get there? I know that's a kind of mad question, but from a lens, from an outside,
Yeah.
the access is not as easy as getting
No.
to, you know, Paris or whatever.
Not at all, because it's not currently a tourist destination. It's a place where there are unspeakable horrors unfolding, and many of them are only discoverable if you go there. So of course, as a system, they don't want any visitors. So when you turn up at the border, I entered from Jordan across the northern border. I was interrogated for multiple hours by 6 or 7 intelligence officers in a room, phone taken, taken apart even, I found out later, belongings taken. And you're put into this psychological gymnasium to see how willing you are to endure it, to get in. So I was very adamant to get in because at this point in my life, all of my coordinations of my creative purpose and existence were to get into Palestine, into the West Bank. And I got in. And little did I know that was just the beginning.
Right, yeah, because we had minimum communication because you
Yeah.
can't just text and stuff, right? You have to.
You know, on day 2 of being in the West Bank, I quickly realized I was developing new ways of thinking, being, interacting, and, you know, clearing your messages every day because they can bypass and triangulate VPNs. And just, you know, trying to gauge who is who in the zoo. And that included Palestinians because the amount of spies that are on the ground in the West Bank reporting to Israel is unprecedented.
Palestinian.
Yeah. So I had, you know, without going into too much detail, I developed a very good circle of people who are going to be friends for life, family, I would say. And many people were giving me intel into people I needed to cut away from because they were intelligence. And I had no idea. So, you know, you start to realize, okay, I need to navigate this jungle without developing extreme anxiety because if I develop that here, I'm going to collapse. Yeah.
Makes sense because, like, I can imagine it's a fight or flight situation, and we are lucky enough to be able to press eject and come back to Britain or wherever you live, right?
Yeah.
But to live there full time.
Are you this? I mean, this is a stupid question, but I think I have to ask it. How changed are you from that trip?
I mean, I came back a Muslim.
Wow.
So, I would say to the highest degree.
And so when you're in West Bank, you've created a community. I guess music was a bit of a glue of people you met there, was it? I mean, you're going there to make a film, but you're a musician.
Well, I went there to just kind of witness, first and foremost, witness, go to the communities, go to, I witnessed settler violence in front of me. Some of it was against me. I witnessed acid being thrown on people. I witnessed several shootings.
In 3 months?
Yeah. Yeah, the situation there is 100 times worse than what we imagine.
Yeah.
And I think with all the attention on Gaza, and not surprisingly, because that's at the highest level of this machine, I think there's a lot of illusion and a lot of misinformation about what's actually happening in the West Bank.
Yeah. So in a way, it's a distraction.
In a way, because they're taking the West Bank
Yeah.
in real time.
They talk about apartheid being a thing in occupied Palestine. How do you see that manifest?
Navigating the West Bank is next to impossible. Every different city or town you go to, you're passing through checkpoints, and these checkpoints, as I put on those stories recently, I did, which I will make into a post for my Instagram in due time, is the deepest form of psychological warfare with architecture that I've ever seen. And not only against the mind and the body, like using people's time is the way they torture people.
Right.
They take your time. You may be kept at a checkpoint for 11 hours. And they make people dance, they make people do weird things. Anything to disintegrate your spirit. This is a spiritual war. It's not only political or oppressive or occupation, they're trying to occupy people's spirits. The trouble they're having is Palestinian spirit is very unique. It's the Holy Land after all. And once you remind yourself of that fact, this is why Palestinians still remain.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The resilience. I mean,
Sumud, the word they use.
Yeah, exactly.
is that their kind of like spirit?
I was in Hebron multiple times, and this is where I saw acid being poured on people. And I had lasers on me as well, multiple times whilst I was there, guns on the head, real intense trench stuff, frontline. I went to visit a family, and the father of this family is a man who was offered $100 million by the IOF for his house, and he refused it. And they tear gassed his house a couple of weeks later, killed 2 of his children because they inhaled all the gas. And then the commander came back, offered him an open check, said, put whatever number you want. And this was no joke. And he pushed the check back and said, you don't understand us. We're not going anywhere. And then they came back a few weeks later and crippled him. He's in a wheelchair.
Really?
For life, yeah. So he lost 2 kids in the wheelchair. And he already lives in hell because Hebron is one of the
toughest.
It's the most dystopian section of the West Bank for sure.
It's almost under complete lockdown, right?
Yeah, complete military siege from within.
Yeah.
And it's just on another level, man. And when I met this gentleman, I don't know anyone who would refuse 100 million to stay in hell.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize the illusion of the so-called free world. In some ways, Palestinians are more free than we are.
Well, that's something you cannot kill. It's a really
Exactly.
good point. I think the death by 1,000 cuts of living in the most AI-infused, algorithmic and violent apartheid system that mankind has ever seen.
Ever, yeah.
Palestinians, I know many people in the Arab world particularly that see them as deities. They are in a category of their own.
Yeah.
And I think the whole world has a hell of a lot to learn from these people. And it's happening. This is the gift and the curse of the internet.
Yes.
Is that the curse is we all know what's bad about the internet, but the gift is when Tony Blair was bombing 1 million people in Iraq, all the footage we had was grainy drone footage. And that's really hard for us to emotionally get, but let's be clear, these people were being genocided in Iraq,
absolutely.
right? But the gift of the internet now is that we are seeing in HD dogs eating corpses, embryos rotting in incubators, single gunshot wounds. Dr. Nick Maynard said that they brought boys in repeatedly that weren't just shot by snipers, they were shot in the testicles by snipers. So when revered British surgeons are coming back to England and telling us, unless they've just had a sociopathic, crazy, who would even make that up, right? And then our press, our tax-funded press, is saying Israel would say.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The language used is just
Completely compromised.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I think
compromised.
Obviously the absolute hell that you describe is like the oracle, as you say, to so many other things. To me, I've said this a few times, but for me, what happened was, because I work with kneecap so closely, they're like family, right? When they went to America and said, fuck Israel, someone somewhere went, stop. And I saw the stop button go on someone for the first time ever.
Right.
And that really brought it home. That this
From a
is
business point of view, from
a business, social, ethical, political, like there's someone out there that is trying to press stop because they said fuck Israel. And I've seen it in micro levels all the time in my industry, but not to the point of that, Next thing they're going for terror charges and then I realized my own industry was part of that.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like people a lot closer to me than expected were all part of this like pro-Israeli ideology that I just simply couldn't accept.
Yeah.
Because there's nuances, but in its basic form, it is just fucking hell.
The illusion is real, man. I went to Jerusalem a couple of years ago after my mum died. I was under the spell. I went to Jerusalem as wow, all this, biblical history, which is true. But I was under the illusion, man. I didn't know anything.
Were you? You're now Muslim.
I was raised Christian until I would say I was 4, because my parents left church when I was about 4. So I had my first formative years were definitely Christian.
Gotcha.
I remember going to Bible school and all that stuff. But, I was under this spell, man, a couple of years ago in Jerusalem. And running the parallel against that on this trip was mind fracturing. Sitting in Jerusalem and studying the reality of Jerusalem being a biblical city. If Louis Vuitton designed biblical cities, no shade to Louis Vuitton, but it's very clinical, it's very manipulated. All the lines are perfect. All the stones are shiny. It's not a holy city. It's a holy city in a straitjacket. And, once you realize the tourism aspect of Jerusalem and how they've created this utopia of a biblical city at the expense of the Palestinians, you realize what the nucleus is of their machine, and it's erasure. Even against their own history. It's erasure. And my 3 months there just showed, every day it was like I went to bed unpacking, felt like a week's worth of learning in 24 hours. Every day I was unpacking so many details. If you enjoy details, it's a hell and a heaven in one.
How did you stand firm in those scenarios? I mean, like I said, we have the privilege to press a jet to come back to England. People are there 24/7.
Yeah.
But going into it, it's fight or flight 24/7, man.
It wasn't easy. I'm from Leicester, I'm not from Palestine. But, when you're with the people who refuse $100 million, and the people who, despite living in hell, there's another guy I met in Hebron, and he lives next to the worst checkpoint in the West Bank. It's got AI guns, and they shoot at random. And he's been there for 40 years. He's seen unspeakable things. And I asked him, I said, why are you still here? And his answer was, because people like you come to drink tea with me. When people say that kind of thing from their heart, you pull your socks up. You put your boots back on and you say, you know what? Keep going.
Yeah.
And obviously I knew one day I'd be affected by these things.
Yeah.
It happened when I left.
Right. Because this is it. It opens up what you call the bigger machine, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, man.
And what's going on in Sudan
Yep.
and Congo.
It's the same machine.
The same machine.
The phone in our pocket, it's the same machine.
Yeah. And yeah, like I say, it's the nucleus for so much of like imperialism, capitalist, would you say like sort of colonial mindset.
we got to use the right words. I think one of the reasons the British press doesn't like, mainstream media doesn't like to invite me to come on to the news to talk about this is because I cannot talk about this without using the phrases white supremacy,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
neocolonialism,
Yep.
right? Patriarchy, men, right? And the hyper extractive capitalist machine that has allowed men to be worth 450 billion, right? In the banquet we just had, the banquet that the king just had, I think there were 3 guys, maybe 4, worth 1.2, 1.3 trillion, right? In the age where boys that look like me are being crushed in lines, so you can have 30% more power in a phone that 10 years ago had more power than any normal person would ever need. Or to have a larger battery in your Tesla or whatever electric vehicle. So I love the fact that you've connected the intersectionality of all of our troubles. And it does lead us back to the false idols of our time, right? I think celebrity culture has got to a place where there is a big reset, and thank God for the next generation. You're seeing Kneecap coming up, but a lot of new talent, newish talent, it's baked in. Sudan, Congo, Palestine is now baked in.
Yeah.
And I would say it's going to be a business decision for Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's not even, if they don't care about it, they're going to be forced to decide because the consumers are looking for more from our idols.
Absolutely.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah. I think because we consume our idols in theory more personally and intimately with the social media rather than just the album. It's like we want to know the real them and all that type of thing, and like the silence has been unbelievable from so many people, and it let me down a lot. But whatever, you move.
I called David Beckham out
Yeah,
and it went all viral. And the reason I did it is not because I was targeting him. My thing is, if you're rich and famous and you don't want to call these things out, I actually don't mind. That's you. History remember you as it remembers you.
Indeed.
But if you choose to be the goodwill ambassador to the biggest children's charity, UNICEF, in the world, and for 2 years, children are being evaporated, and you say nothing.
Yeah.
When I saw how much you did for the white children of Ukraine, then I'm going to call you out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Need it.
100%.
Yeah. So
100%.
it is what it is.
No, it's good. I mean, now it's like your platform, my platform, we're unionized. I love this whole sharing culture online where we can collaborate, spread it to different audiences, tell us truer story.
Well, I'm at the foot of that mountain.
Yeah.
You two have platforms. I'm
Come on
up.
I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
As we
I'm coming.
climb, we lift.
Come in, pull
Absolutely.
me. I'm coming.
I mean, I know
I'm
you've
coming.
got a whole heap of really personal and intense pictures and footage from your experience over there that in due course you will probably share.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sort of testing it as you see on the stories, just to see people's, reactions. My approach is just by my nature, which is a poetic, creative, humanized nature. There's ways to humanize things that are not human, like the checkpoints. The way I describe the checkpoints is to just describe how your body reacts, and how people around me reacted. And when you pay attention to those details, it shows you the theater of this machine. And coming back to the celebrity thing, I think it's no coincidence that the film, music, and every creative entertainment sector has these, as you said, people that push buttons to stop things. I believe Zionism is somewhat the caretaker of the celebrity concept.
Right.
And
do you think that because it wants to feed back into that economy or stop that message being spread because it's feeding the economy to that world?
Celebrities are like messengers. And when you're told what to say, you have control of a large amount of people. And the contracts they're in are with companies run by Zionists. So why wouldn't they say, you know what, we need to make them say this or do this or wear that? It's been happening for decades.
But if they're wealthy, this is the thing that I always ask myself. You cannot cancel Taylor Swift. You cannot cancel Beyonce. If they woke up tomorrow morning and they said free Congo, free Sudan, free Palestine, they're going to be fine. Rihanna has more wealth than her children's children will ever need. So it can't be a fear factor, right? It's got to be this cognitive development to make you think that you have to be in the machine, which is why I miss the heroes on whose shoulders I believe I stand on, which is people like Nina Simone, right, who risked it all. Muhammad Ali, literally, his best fighting years were taken away from him because he didn't want to go and shoot. He said, I've never met anyone from Vietnam. Yeah. What am I going to do to them? Where are our ones in sports?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
right?
so
Where are the footballers? Like Mo Salah would respect, Mo. You've done one post.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not enough.
Our boxers, I got to give a shout out to Lewis Hamilton. He's been vocal from the beginning.
Yeah.
We need more.
Absolutely.
We do.
You know, and you know, at that level, I mean, top.
Super
Big levels. If you look at the top most followed people on Instagram, first of all, the most followed page on Instagram, do you know what it is? I'm not sure. You'd be shocked. Do you know what it is?
No idea.
It's at Instagram.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right, and it's probably grown, but it was over 500 million followers.
Yeah.
It's crazy numbers. And then it's a litany of
Ronaldo.
Messi, Ronaldo, 3 or 4 Kardashians. I think Beyonce, Taylor, you know, the usual, right?
Usual
and
suspects,
if you look at the top 10, it's well over, I think it's over 2 billion humans follow, and I don't think a single one of them has said a single thing about the biggest, the litmus test of all humanity is Palestine.
Yeah.
And there's been silence.
Yeah.
Says a lot, doesn't it? Silence can say a lot.
I believe nothing incidental is coincidental. You know, I think the silence is designed. And I agree, it's not just the fear that's making them stay silent. I believe there's other things involved.
But it is a choice because
Absolutely.
they are human.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to assign the fact that they are not stupid. I do not believe that Jay-Z and Beyonce do not, let's take Palestine out of it, do not know that their black boy is being crushed in mines.
Of course, they know. Yep. It is a choice.
So.
Yeah, no, it is a choice.
Completely agree.
Humanity before it all.
Yeah.
I think like the Palestine thing, which is the one that I'm most kind of like up on, and I know there's loads going on. I've always thought that this isn't showbiz, this isn't politics, this isn't entertainment, this is fucking life.
Yeah.
And that should come before all this bollocks.
Yeah, we're living through a very bipolar time in history, which is one side or the other. There's no fence to sit on.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that's it. You know, you're for humanity or you're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no more arguments.
But people have mortgages to pay. People are very, very scared. So this is the level much lower than Taylor Swift and Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
And what's amazing to me is that a lot of the people that are the most vocal are the ones that have so much to lose.
Yeah.
Right? Some of the most vocal people I know across this whole systemic change and resistance are living, you know, meal to meal.
Yeah.
But they're out there in protest. They're getting arrested. We have people in jail that threw, was it baked beans at a Van Gogh painting?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing hard time, like,
Yeah.
you know, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
It's just astonishing to me. And you have Michael Gove, a former senior member of the Tory party, who wrote, and you can Google it, everyone's like, Misan, did he really say that? He wrote a headline saying that the IDF should be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
Heard it all.
The anti-Muslim hate that has been poured into many of us, especially my age, because post 9/11 we were entertained by incredibly racist films.
Oh, yeah.
So if you watch American Sniper,
Yeah.
even Zero Dark 30, which is technically a good film, but it is racist. And the Arab man could either be a rich fool or a violent terrorist. He couldn't be a father, a brother, a philosopher, a poet. He couldn't have agency. He couldn't grow old. And if you look at the history of literature, language, science, so much of it that has been co-opted by the Western world actually came from that part of the world.
Yeah.
You know, I fell in love with my wife watching a show called Homeland. And there is a blonde lady running around the Middle East in Homeland, and the baddie is called Abu Hamza. You know, that is why when Ukraine happened, there was a specific reaction.
Absolutely.
And then when October 7th happened, the medieval level of violence inflicted into a group of people where 1.1 million are children, people just went meh, and they started planning their Halloween and their nativity and their golf trips.
Yeah. And then it was like Congo, even deeper so, because of the way it's portrayed and what the stereotype is of that society.
How many films have you seen
In my life.
about the Belgium Congo and what Leopold did? 11 million. 11 million.
Not spoken about.
How many Hollywood standard films have you seen in the English language about, if not the largest genocide of all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely. And we didn't learn about that at school.
Which, come on now.
You know, we learned about the Holocaust for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Churchill, you know, a unrepentant white supremacist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The Mau Mau massacre.
Yeah.
The Bengal famine.
Yeah.
And I remember being on a mainstream news channel and they threw me what I call the British hot potato live, right? So they're like, so you're BLM, aren't you? And I'm like, we're talking about my pictures here. What it says? You're BLM. So you want to pull down all these statues, don't you? And I was like, you're telling me what you think I want to do. So I knew it was live. So I said, well, actually, I don't. Keep the statues up. But what I would like is placards. And with Churchill in the front, you can say, great wartime leader. On the left, you can say he was a talented painter because he painted well in his time in Blenheim. On the other side, you can say that he liked a good cigar. He was an aficionado. And on the back, and you can have it in small print if you like, you can talk about his well-documented and abhorrently racist views towards brown and black people that were racist even for his time, because they like to say, oh, in those days, there's well-documented correspondence from his own peers. They're like, dude, you're just racist.
Yeah, straight. Well, speaking of white supremacy, it feels like it's risen its head apart the sand more than ever recently, sadly. I mean, obviously it's always existed, but people are really proud to own it. It was fascinating. I went Sheffield the other week, DJ, and we went, you know, I'm in my West London bubble. I see the internet, but, you know, quite multifaceted area, and then went past Leicester, but we had to come off M1, and the amount of flags was incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in Leicester, man.
It was insane.
St. George flags.
Like, it was so aggressive.
Isn't he Turkish Palestinian?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Nah.
Right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, what, the flag?
No, St. George.
Oh, yeah. I know, it's incredible, isn't it? Yeah. But it was just insane. And like, my friend was like, my friend Mickey was like, driving us, and he was like pulling up to people and going, go on, mate. And they were all like well into it, like the bravado of it and stuff like that. And it's really here, and it's from my generation, 40, most obvious form. And you know, you see it all interconnected again. So you see Tommy Robinson in Israel. It's like,
but he's a snake also. I mean, the thing, I got a lot of stick from some of my followers and I wasn't defending these lads.
Yeah.
But I think we need to have a conversation. You know, so much of our discourse is about keeping us on islands of rage. And I don't believe that's how we build bridges. You know, I've shot every protest full of, I see them, they have 10 tinnies before 10 a.m. at Waterloo. They're pissing on the road. They don't even know, some of them don't even know they're in London.
Yeah.
They are that smashed.
Missing.
Literally. So I'm like, but what I see are boys in men's bodies, right? That are looking, many of them have valid questions for a world that they don't understand.
Yeah.
But they're looking for answers in the wrong places. And it's important to recognize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I was spat on, you know, a lot of people, when I started shooting the protests for Palestine, a lot of people say, you never go to the pro-Israel ones. And I was like, actually, I do, and I'll go again. And I went. And one of the guys in the pro-Israel marches obviously recognized me. And he waited till I got near, because I was shooting, and he just phlegmed up. and he spat in my face. And I don't know if you've ever been spat on. It's a very, you really have to check yourself. You know, in that moment,
it's a challenge, right?
To decide what your reaction is. And obviously, there are lots of cameras. I'm relatively known these days, and I just thought, look at this man's eyes. And I looked at his eyes, and I'm still covered in his spit. And I was like, why did you do that? And I said, you are hurting me. I'm here to try and understand what's going on with you, and you hurt me. And he just looked at me, and he looked at me, and then he just burst into tears. Yeah. And then this man who spat at me held me like a child. I mean, I was holding a man that felt like a kid. And that's why I always talk about this C.S. Lewis quote, which goes, I've known my anger for so long that she told me her real name was grief. Yeah. The unresolved trauma in multiple communities.
Yeah.
But we cannot ignore the unresolved trauma in the Jewish community because it has been weaponized against them.
Yeah, totally.
By our press even.
Yeah, absolutely. And our government. Yeah.
Completely, yeah.
And that's what I felt when I held this man. It was a surreal experience.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
That is extremely powerful.
Yeah, I mean, again, through art and pictures and sound and creativity per se, you know.
But allowing men who drop the bombs, men who do the raping and the hacking and the shooting, mainly men, we have to really get on this patriarchy thing, right? Because, you know, I do wonder how many women have been in the rooms over the last 100 years in this mess, right? Yeah. When it's men making these awful decisions. Yeah. And we have to work on it. Because that moment of vulnerability between that guy and me, I don't think he's ever had anyone, I don't think that's how he moves in his day-to-day,
of course,
right?
He just burst, right?
Yeah.
He needed it.
Yeah. And I think we all need, because, you know, broken men, Bibi Netanyahu, broken man, right? Donald Trump, broken. I can go on all day, right? Elon Musk, Thomas.
Yeah.
Right, Thomas. Broken.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to read up about Stephen Yaxley, right, his whole childhood. How did he become that? Nigel Farage, broken.
Yeah, totally. It's evident.
It's fucked, isn't it?
And the same with all the people in history, Hitler, Napoleon. They had fractured childhoods.
Yeah.
Trauma.
Yeah, boy. And it's just it's the bit that's like, feels really like helpless is like how these characters end up at the top of these triangles and stuff.
Yeah. So how are you two going to fix the music industry? Come on now.
Well, he's going to Palestine. So I don't want to speak on your journey or what you're doing.
No, don't worry.
But I know you're up to something very special.
I think we need to, you know, use art in a different way. We need to centralize creativity in a way that is rebellious. We need to resist. Art is resistance in the highest form.
Yes.
You know, it's the only way, because as much as we protest and we shift the lanes and we twist and bend, it's amazing to see the energy in the protest and the people's like refusal to be silent. But the system, the machine, is observing that at all times. It's learning about a counter response they're always going to give back to us. So we need to be aware of the way they use our genuine energy to protest in a way that helps them to collect data on us and learn how we protest. They're always 10 steps ahead. This is the machine. It's an ancient format. And I believe we need to assemble ourselves in a way where we use art as the highest form of resistance.
Yeah. Santan Dave.
There you go.
Boy, you played the harp. Listen.
Bro.
Yeah.
Listen, look, for that to hit now.
What?
I was in tears because I've been watching our community, right? And I'm like, why isn't anything I'm seeing on our phones coming out in the music? And what I loved about it, he said why it's been hard, whilst also saying specifically about the West Bank in that song. And I was like, come on now.
And you know what, for me, I actually tried to get the message to him because I felt so in awe of him. He is arguably right up the top of the triangle in terms of like how the music industry is, because he's so mainstream.
Yeah, he is.
Whether he means to or not, he's providing an economy and a worth and a market share that's huge.
Outside of the UK too.
Yeah. And he's said more than any rapper has in the last year. And he can fall lower than a lot of people at the bottom there, per se, that are being silent. And I just don't just admire that, but it shows that you can be yourself, say what you want, but also rap music was created as social commentary for the black working class in America. It spread around the world.
Yeah.
And then somewhere around the line, it turned into something else. Yeah. Right? So now, some people don't say, oh, the most popular rapper in Britain, and arguably Europe, has said more than anyone else and went to #1 in the charts. That's an example of using art.
Yeah. And Wretch, same week.
Yeah.
That was amazing. In the National.
Yeah.
He did his thing as well. It all happened at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is actually really interesting, because the moment, black culture is the culture, right? And I think revolutionary imagery has been co-opted by a white supremacist machine. So I don't fuck around with my words. When I say to a lot of my brothers and sisters that we do not own our culture, they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, we don't own our culture, dude.
Yeah.
That halftime show, it's important to bring it up, because as an artist, you can't knock Kendrick.
Absolutely.
But the reality is, he was doing a halftime show watched by I don't know how many billion people, and it was purely revolutionary imagery. Beyonce's done something similar in the past. You cannot use revolutionary imagery if you're not a revolutionary.
Yeah.
And the only revolutionary on that fucking stage was his dancer, who has since been arrested. He flew the Sudanese and Palestinian flag.
Yeah.
Right? So it can either be performative, and that keeps Universal Music happy, or it can be real, and you become a real fly in the ointment. And that's when greatness, I think, greatness, how will you be remembered, right? I think of Money Mayweather, right? He's just received a Zionist prize for something, right? Arguably the greatest pound-for-pound fighter we've ever had. But he's always wanted to be remembered in the same level as Muhammad Ali. But the amazing thing about Ali, as good as he was in the ring, he is remembered more today for what he did outside of the ring.
Yeah.
So we all need to ask ourselves what we do with the time we have.
Totally. Couldn't agree more, man.
I think that wraps it up. I think that concludes everything we've just tried to get across. Misan, thank you for everything. Thank you for the imagery. Thank you for the teachings, your existence.
I should start a church. I think I'll start a church. You in?
I'm in, bro. You know I'm in, man. Yeah.
Nat Powers, I respect you so much, man. I know
brother.
what you're up to.
Thank you, man.
It's strong. It's believing it. You're using your art for the right way. And it's been beautiful to sit with you guys today.
Before you switch this off, I have to say that there is something about the community that we're all building, where we're all finding each other, but also I'm really proud of the human beings that I'm meeting, because there's a goodness to so many of us. And I think many of us are survivors of all kinds of traumas. I don't know your past, but I can feel your humanity in a way that when you were talking, I could, your humanity was slapping me in a way where I felt safe around you, right? In a way that I'm really proud of the man that you are today, and the future that you don't know what's coming for you. But it's an extraordinary thing to see.
Thank you, man.
And that is, again, not celebrated enough in all of our communities. Someone that's willing to refuse to look away when it pays to be apathetic, right? It pays to be fucking silent.
Yeah.
It pays to just do those brand deals.
Thank you, brother. The day we briefly met when you had your gallery was the first day that I met Dr. Mo Mustafa. And the day I met Mo was the day that he was the first person I told, and his right-hand man, Mathieu. They were the first two people that I told, hey, look, I want to do this project. I'm going to pause my music career indefinitely. They were the first two people I told, and then I met you afterwards and heard your speech. So I want to throw the ball back, man, and say, him, as you know, he's an amazing man. But likewise, when I heard your speech and absorbed your work in the gallery, it told me, without telling me directly, it's okay. Go ahead. Go down the road. It's going to be hard, but walk. And so I want to thank you for that too, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
You're in the Steez factory now.